Remember when you were a kid, the excitement you felt on Christmas Eve? You knew something great was waiting for you, but you just didn't know what it was. This is exactly how I felt about the Wildcat XX. Textron has had all the resources necessary to build a mind-blowing pure sport side-by-side, and we've been waiting a long time for them to do it. Now, we have the Wildcat XX, and it's time to find out if it's as good as it is good looking. It's suspended on a set of Fox 2.5 Podium QS3s that are damping 18 inches of unequal length double A-arm travel up front and 18 inches of trailing arm travel out back. A 998cc triple produces 125 horsepower, and the whole thing rolls on a set of 15-inch KMC wheels wrapped in 30-inch CST Behemoth tires. The most important aspect of the new Wildcat XX, the thing Textron absolutely had to get right, was the motor. And they definitely got it right. The Yamaha-produced 998cc dual overhead cam triple makes 125 horsepower in this configuration. It is not turbocharged, but before you get all uptight about that, consider this. No, this vehicle doesn't compete against Razor and Maverick turbos. But it does compete against the non-turbo motors, and in those categories, it has the most horsepower. So it's not a turbo, but it's definitely no slouch. In fact, this thing rips. Excellent off the bottom, smooth and linear mid-range that finishes with a crisp yet bold top end and shifts out in the high 70s. Our only complaint here is with the clutching. Slow, almost sticky back shifting causes the engine to get bogged down in places like deep sand. This will very likely be addressed in 2019, though. Suspension-wise, the XX is nothing short of incredible, and I don't say that lightly. With 18 inches of travel, on paper, it's not on par with Razors and Mavericks, but in the real world, it feels every bit as good, if not a little bit better. The front suspension design is fairly standard, with a massive set of unequal length double A-arms. The rear suspension is pretty unique, though. While it is a trailing arm design, it's not like its competitors. Instead of using a long arm mounted to a single pivot for the trailing arm itself, the XX's trailing arms are Y-shaped and have two mounting points up front. This means it can do without the locator links traditionally found on a trailing arm setup, which saves weight and complexity, eliminates scrub, and according to Textron, is more durable. One thing I know for sure, it works. Travel is so plush and honestly feels bottomless. In the whoop-slow, this suspension combination feels more controlled and inspires more confidence than anything else I've ever driven. The drivetrain inspires confidence as well, thanks to a beefy Team Industries transaxle and front gear case. Durable parts built up and designed to take all the abuse these massive 30-inch Behemoth tires can dish out. The interior of the XX is an interesting mix. It's the largest interior of any sports side-by-side to date, which is great. I have tons of room to stretch out. The seats are excellent, well-bolstered, perfectly reclined, and adjustable. The roll cage is basically an aftermarket cage, but included from the factory with its arched shape and pre-installed intrusion bars. These standard equipment full doors are amazing, in my opinion, the best factory-included doors in the industry. The frame member hidden underneath this panel makes getting in and out of the XX very difficult, especially for a tall guy like me. Maybe this doesn't matter to some, but it definitely matters to me. On the other hand, so does functionality, and the box of the XX is pretty impressive, in sport side-by-side terms anyway. It's the largest in its class with the highest cargo capacity of 300 pounds, and it's entirely functional. You can haul all the gear you could possibly need for a long day on the trail or even a short overnighter, or you can store a full-size spare tire and wheel combo inside, and in my opinion, it looks pretty cool. Overall, my verdict on this 2018 Wildcat XX is pretty straightforward. So much of it, most of it in fact, is so impressive, and only a few things fall short. This Wildcat is purpose-built to perform and survive. From its double shear suspension mounts to its heavy-duty hubs and bearings, this thing can handle anything you can throw at it. Suspension and power are both class-leading. The exterior design it's just sexy and tough looking. The only real low point is getting in and out, but that's not really that big a deal. Excellent seats and seating position, more legroom than any other Pure Sport side-by-side. The more time I spend inside the Wildcat XX, the more I find to like and appreciate about it. In my opinion, this thing is an absolute home run for Textron. Thanks for watching this segment of Dirt Tracks TV. For more great content, make sure you click the links or subscribe to our channel where we're always updating with new content every day throughout the week.